Yes, Cubans are getting deported, but they are not getting deported back to Cuba. And these are not the Cubans who have entered the United States in the last few years. These are Cubans who have been in the U.S. since the 1960s, 70s, 80s, and at one point they were even lawful permanent residents, but because of their criminal history, they lost their immigration status and were ordered deported. But because of the political situation between the United States and Cuba, they were actually never deported to Cuba, and instead they were placed on what's called order of supervision, where they typically go once a year for a quote-unquote check-in, and they meet with an ICE officer, and the ICE officer makes sure that they don't have any other crimes going on and they're abiding by the terms of their check-in, and they're able to apply for a work authorization. Since Cubans were not accepted by Cuba to be deported, they have remained in the United States for decades under the order of supervision. But now, since the Trump administration is pushing hard this third country removals, Cubans are now being deported to various locations, including Mexico. You're seeing Cubans go to their ICE OSUP check-in appointment and be detained, and they're spending a few weeks in Chrome and then being transferred over to Texas, and then from Texas they're being placed on a bus and then deported to the southern part of Mexico. Shame, because I think if ICE had told them what the plan was, these people could at least prepare for it, but sadly they have absolutely no idea that this is even coming to them, and now they've been in the U.S. for 50, 60 years with relatives and businesses and families and ties to the U.S., and just being dropped off in another country with no ID, no money, and no resources.
I have zero sympathy for Cubans that voted for that delinquent motherfucker. Y'all are now facing the consequences of your own actions because of your pure ignorance. A lot of the Cubans that came here from the island and decided to support that motherfucker, that were on humanitarian parole or various other immigration programs to try and stay in this country, are now crying and suffering the fucking consequences of their own stupid fucking motherfucking actions. I just watched 3 back-to-back interviews with different Cubans that came from the island that had some type of application in with immigration and were deported back to Cuba, and they were supporters of the rapist, crying on camera. One of them even has a disabled child and another little kid. The wife had to stay back, and he was deported back to Cuba. And they were staunch supporters of this delinquent piece of shit. I am Cuban. I was born in Cuba, but I consider myself to be Cuban American. I decided to educate myself from a very young age. Back in about 2004, when John Kerry was running for president, I already knew at that point that I was a Democrat, because I aligned directly with those values, because I learned in political science and U.S. history classes in school what being a Democrat or aligning with those values was in comparison to conservative values. And mind you, my family were refugees from Cuba. My dad was a political prisoner, right, in Cuba. My whole family is conservative, Republican. But from a very young age, I decided to educate myself, to go to college, to do my own research. Even from the time I was a kid, even before going to college, I did my own research. And I always have. When you come from another country and you decide to go from one dictatorship to another, and you decide to continue supporting the same bullshit, just instead of with a communist flavor, with a
Mi gente, I haven't done one of these in a while. Between the Cuban Adjustment Act and then when they started, when they took away their refugee status, I came on here and I talked about it again, and I kind of make fun of them. But anyway, here's another one for the record. Cuban Americans take front and fucking center. Cubans for Trump. Front and fucking center. Let's talk about it, because I know you don't want to talk about it now, right? Now you're avoiding me at all fucking costs, right? And I think it's funny, but in the last fucking week, this administration has gone after you super hard. super hard. Even those that have been in the country for a fucking while are getting detained and being threatened to be fucking deported. And he is coming after you. There goes the fucking articles that this, because I know you're going to say I'm lying, but I'm not lying. And if it hasn't happened to you yet, it's just a matter of fucking time. Once he revoked your refugee status for you, Haitians, and Venezuelans, right? Now you don't have the protections and that your ass is voted for, right? Do you remember all the videos? Your votes, voy a votar por Donald Trump. Right? Remember that? Remember that? Remember how many of you came to my page to talk shit? Who's fucking laughing now? Who's fucking laughing now? Do you think this would have taught you a lesson for midterms? Do you think it's going to teach you a lesson for 2028? I fucking doubt it. I doubt it. But I hope it does. I told you so. Again, I warned you. Now, here's the funniest thing about this video. This is the guy they call El Funky, and I don't even know who the fuck he is. But as of a few days ago, he was being threatened to be deported. And now, I'm not sure how he got out of it. But look at him. Does he fucking even look like he would qualify to be in the United States under this fucking administration? I think not. He should have known better. But sure enough, I think because he thought he was famous, Trump was going to accept him. And what did he say at your own town hall meeting? I only want you for your vote. Now you see how that works, right? But if somebody knows El Funky, send it to him, right? Because I don't even know who the fuck he is. But good for your ass. Good for your ass. Maybe you'll wake up now. Maybe all of you will wake up now and stop being a part of that colorism that makes you think the color of your skin makes you better than the rest of us fucking Latinos. Who's laughing now? Cubans for Trump.
Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, Africans. I hope you're faring well where you are. And if you ain't faring well, please fare well where you are. So, F around and find out. Yes, still the season. And it seems that this is a reawoken season because more and more regrets are continuing to pile up. We are having black people, we are having Latinas, we are having Mexicans, Hispanics, Arabs, Haitians, you know, crying up and down about Donald J. Trump, right? This is the bet that they made. It's a decision they decided to take. I believe that if you make your bed, so you must lie on it, right? And that's the situation here. Now, you understand that in the Americas, we have different races, of course, immigrants and Latinas as well. And so Latinas are part of the Cubans, right? And now we have now news from Cubans who are in Miami, right? So should I call them Miamians, Cubans, or how do you call them? See, they're complaining and they're really crying out to the government for help. They're crying out to black people. They're crying out to anyone with which they can cry out to support them, because now Trump is coming after their families. This very man who promised to safeguard their families is now coming after their families. And they think it's they thought that they were trying to help themselves by making it hard for other people, making it hard for blacks, particularly by voting Trump in, but it has turned out to be the opposite. They are making it hard for themselves because black people are not immigrants. No, we ain't immigrants in the United States of America, right? So I want us to watch this video, listen to these people complain, and share their transgression, their lamentations. I shall get back by the end of the video where we shall also have a deep critical analysis.
I think this is my Cue the music.
Do you have Cuban parents who think that they can't be deported? Do they feel like they're not part of the immigrant community? Isidro Perez was a 75-year-old Cuban man who lived in the United States for nearly 60 years. The convictions he had was for drug possession of a controlled substance. One charge was in 1981, the second charge was in 1984. Those charges are older than most TikTok users today. And that was enough for ICE to review his status and determine that he was inadmissible under the Immigration and Nationalities Act from 1950s. Isidro wasn't a threat. He wasn't a threat to our country or to our community. So for those Cuban parents who still think that they're untouchable, think again. And now that you are being looked at like Mexicans, what do you think about Donald Trump now?
TikTok, I'm asking for your help. I'm at the county jail and I came here with my husband to pay some debt, and there were ICE agents outside and we didn't notice, and when we were walking out of the county jail, they were waiting right there in the corner and they just took him from me, and I'm asking for help. We have 5 kids that need their dad.
Hey, so let me get this straight, man. You wanted ICE to deport the criminals, but they came for your husband instead? Holy shit, dude. Talk about regretting your vote, man. Now, this woman says she fully believed only criminals were getting detained. Meanwhile, ICE said bet and packed up her baby daddy like leftovers at a Thanksgiving dinner table. Now she's 7 months pregnant, y'all. And guess who ain't gonna be there at the baby shower? Ma'am, you supported this bullshit. What in the hell did you think was gonna happen? You supported Trump to deport the criminals. And now your husband's on a no-fly list? Your kids have no father to come home to? All thanks to your vote? Cry me a river, lady.
¿Es su esposa? ¿Quisieras decir algo?
Son unas mierdas, pinche gobierno, no van a chingar su madre.
Vamos a ir al centro.
Están mis hijas esperándolos en la casa. 6 niñas tengo que dependen de nosotros.
¿Ella es la mamá?
Sí.
¿Y por qué se la están llevando?
Porque
¿A qué vinieron?
tumbaron el caso, según. Es lo que están haciendo ahorita, por eso no venga nadie. No vengan porque se los van a llevar a todos. Están ahí arriba muchos de migración esperando que les tumben el caso para llevárselos.
¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas?
Eduardo Duarte.
¿Y ella cómo se llama?
Luz del Carmen Herrera.
¿Qué pasó? ¿Me puedes decir qué pasó?
Le desestimaron el caso y se lo van a llevar. Es lo que están haciendo.
Tranquila, ma. Acá estoy yo, acá estoy yo. Tranquila, ma. Aquí estoy yo. Aquí estoy yo, ma. Acá está todo.
Y'all want to know what the fuck is ironic and what's really actually sick, if you actually analyze it and think about it? That the Cubans that sing, ay, 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 I will vote, are the same ones that can thank himself, Donald Trump, for deporting, statistically, in his first term, the most amount of Cubans from out of any U.S. president since the 1990s. This is an actual known fact and statistic. And isn't it ironic that it was a fucking Democrat, Lyndon B. Johnson, that in 1966 was the one to sign the Cuban Adjustment Act, allowing Cubans an easier and smoother route to get a green card here in the United States after being here for a year. And isn't it ironic that who they're singing about, Donald Trump, in his first term also in 2020, the amount of asylum approvals decreased all the way down to fucking 4% from previous years, which were about between 25 and 30%. Giving y'all some facts. These are facts. Isn't it ironic how Clinton, a fucking Democrat, was the one that enacted the wet foot, dry foot policy that allowed a fucking shit ton of them to come here and stay? And isn't it ironic that they don the flags, the Trump flags, on their boats and in front of their houses in Hialeah, but this is the same dude, the same piece of shit rapist that cut staffing at the U.S. Embassy, making it exponentially harder for Cubans to get visas, and ended the Cuban family reunification program for them. And finally, in this present day and age with what we're going through right now with these immigration raids in 2025, isn't it fucking ironic that they are still singing, "Ah, yeah, I will vote," but yet it's the Democrats that are still fucking fighting for them to fucking stay here. Meanwhile, a lot of their families and Cubans that have come fresh from Cuba are being rounded up in these ICE raids and taken away. And the only fucking people that are vouching for them and fighting for them strong and staying strong, fighting against these fucking criminals in this administration, are the actual fucking liberals and the Democrats that they so love to call comunista. Because again, as I have said in previous videos, they fail to fucking learn the system in this country, and they equate liberals and Democrats to communists for some fucking reason. Well, I know the fucking reason, because they refuse to fucking educate themselves, and in their brain, in their fucking mind, they're still living in Cuba, in the political system that they had in Cuba. No matter if they're in their 60s or 70s or 80s or 90s and shit like that, they refuse to fucking educate themselves and continue to equate liberal, Democrat, or anybody slightly either moderate or even left-leaning. They equate it automatically to communists because of the lack of education and just the pure fucking ignorance that's in the Cuban community. So meanwhile, the Democrats, even with all their flaws, because it's a heavily flawed political party in the United States, regardless, they are still putting in the work and still fucking fighting for Latinos and for immigrant communities here in this country to stop this bullshit. Because the reality is that a lot of these raids and a lot of the bullshit that this administration is doing is unprecedented and has never been seen before on American soil, because of how dirty and nasty they're going about doing things. Not to mention, they are doing things so nasty and so wrong and so dirty that they are being sued left and fucking right, as they should. So Cubans, continue. If you want to keep living the way that you're doing and keep singing, I will vote for Donald Trump, keep doing what you're doing. But just know that y'all motherfuckers don't have a good reputation in the Latino community, because you keep supporting the same dictatorial bullshit that you and your families left Cuba for a better future. And you came here for a better future, to seek out a better future, and you're still doing the same fucking bullshit and repeating the same fucking mistakes that your previous fucking ancestors made. And that is why we are in this fucking mess. Please go fucking educate yourselves.
I used to be one of those people way back when that said, you know, if you want to come to this country, that's okay, just come the right way, whatever that means. Honestly, I don't care. I don't care if you have papers or not. It doesn't affect my life in any way. And after learning what our immigration system is like in this country, I don't care if you have papers, ever get papers. My grandparents on both sides, my mom's parents and my dad's parents, fled Cuba shortly after Castro took power, early 60s. And my parents, as far as I knew, were permanent residents forever. They never became citizens. If they became citizens, it's been only in recent years. As far as I knew, they were only permanent residents never bothered to get their citizenship. So, and those people, my parents, support this administration. Yeah. So my grandparents fled Cuba. My father's parents, in the middle of the night, and landed in the Florida Keys in the wee hours of the morning in the early 60s. You know, because Castro was in power and everything that was happening there. They came here, they didn't have papers. They were greeted by the local church that helped them, gave them food, gave them clothing, helped them, you know, get accommodations. And as a result, my parents are here, and I'm here, and my kids are here because of what my grandparents did and went through to get here. So what a hypocritical asshole I would be if I sit here now and say, well, come here the right way, whatever that means. And my story isn't different than most people's, okay? You're here because someone in your family way back when sacrificed and came here for a better life, fleeing something, persecution of some kind, right? So what a hypocritical asshole are you now to come and say, well, come here the right way. So for all you hypocritical assholes out there screaming, deport the illegal immigrants, deport the illegals, you're here illegally, come the right way. You voted for a convicted felon. A convicted felon who has actually pardoned convicted felons because they support him and they're rich. Being undocumented is not illegal. What is illegal and should be illegal, and he should be in prison, is pardoning actual convicted felons. People that were convicted for breaking federal laws. Have the life you deserve.
The Latin community of Miami-Dade, which is 68% Latin, voted to deputize their police departments to become ICE agents so that they can help detain and deport illegal immigrants throughout Miami-Dade. Yes, because Miami-Dade is 68% Latin community, which means that the Board of Commissioners that voted for this, which were all Latin, actually voted yes to have their own people police the illegal immigrants of Miami-Dade, have them deported out of the country. That's one thing. The second thing is that we now have documented immigrants, ones with papers, helping build the ICE facility in the Everglades, so that way when the documented immigrants of Miami-Dade actually detain the illegal immigrants, they have somewhere to put them because the immigrants that are actually documented helped build a facility for them in Alcatraz of Everglades, or Alligator Alcatraz as they're calling it, which is funny because 1930s Germany had Auschwitz, and now we've got Alligator Alcatraz. What do you guys think? For the Latin community, I know I'm pasty white, but I'm just kind of wondering, how do you feel about your own people betraying you? And do you think that it's time to perhaps maybe leave a comment and repost and scream the injustice that's going on? And if you actually think that deporting immigrants is a good thing, I want to hear from you, because I'm pretty sure the people that are watching my post would love to give you a piece of their mind. But all I know is that this seems a lot more like 1930s Germany than it does 2025 America. What is the difference? Leave a comment.
So a while ago, I had made a video about Cubans that voted for Trump, and I posted it on multiple platforms. And a lot of Cubans came for me saying, I'm still here, I'm not afraid, I don't regret my vote. But I'm gonna re-ask the question, how are you feeling after what happened this morning? Because I'm sure y'all are scared now. During the election period, a lot of you did this, and even this. Oof, that did not age well, did it? That did not age well. That's gotta sting, actually. That's really got to sting. And that should sting because of this. The Supreme Court just passed that Trump can revoke the status of over 500,000 migrants. And the very first one that's listed in this article, Cubans. So I ask yet again, my Miami Cubans, where are you guys at now? Are you hiding? Are you running scared? Because you guys were fooled. You were told that all Democrats were more like Fidel, and you gave him your vote. And now, just like we've all been telling you all along, he doesn't give a shit about you. And he's proving it, because you guys are on your way out. So I hope that you guys really, really do enjoy living in Cuba, because you're all headed back. And I guarantee you, the way this man's functioning this time around, he's gonna make sure this shit happens, and it happens quick.
Oh, nothing. I was just popping up on here to let y'all know that the city of Miami canceled their November elections and that the mayor and the city commissioners will get another year term. I repeat, the city of Miami canceled their November elections and are postponing them until 2026. They decided to move the election year from odd to even on an election year. Meanwhile, the city charter states that municipal elections take place in odd years, and charter changes requires voter approvals, although voters did not vote for this. So when folks keep talking about constitution and laws and order and decorum and all this other craziness, your literal rights are being stripped away right in front of you. And folks can call it fear-mongering or whatever the top vocabulary word is for this week in TikTok, but you cannot deny what is happening in real time. So Miami's Republican mayor will get another year that the voters did not vote.
This video is going out to the Cuban community, especially here in Florida. As of today, the Cuban community is no longer safe from being deported. This coming from the ruling of the Supreme Court. Now, I love you guys. Living in Southwest Florida, I have made some great friends, but I've also told many of you that voting for Trump is not the answer. You guys are worried about being communist again, because the Republicans put that in your head. See, because of Jimmy Carter, you guys are here in America, the US of A. That's a Democratic president, by the way. But we tried to warn you not to vote for Trump, and you did.
Now, guys, it's very true, and it's sad about these stories of deportation. Sometimes I feel tired of reporting the same news every now and then, but happening to different kinds of people. But this should stay as a reminder of one thing. It should be a reminder that a politician is not your friend, and the promises that a politician makes to you are not things that he is obligated to fulfill, right? They are telling you those lies. They are selling you propaganda so that you could vote them in. That is why they are selling you the propaganda. And now many people are always captivated by the sweet words. Many people are captivated by the sweet words I have said that these politicians say. And politics in itself is such a dirty game. I always say that tit for tat is a fair game. And for a politician, today, they might promise you heaven. Tomorrow, they will deliver hell to you, right? Now, I'm back here and I'm looking at something else. I'm looking at the situation of different kinds of individuals living in the United States of America right now. Take, for instance, the Cubans, in this case. They are not much different from blacks or immigrants or the Latinos. Trump is particularly targeting the Latinas, right? He's targeting the Latinas, and he believes that when he kicks out the Latinas, America will run out of some of its many problems, right? he believes that the Latinas are causing so much problems, so much violence, so much all kind of vices are being caused by the Latinas. That is what Donald Trump believes in. And he believes that these Latinas are taking pride, you know, they're taking pride in making wrong things because they know that they are protected by the government, they are protected by the Constitution because they are US citizens. You've heard one of the people have said that Trump is also working on dissolving, you know, erasing the part of the Constitution that defends people who are American citizen by naturalization, right? Because some of the people who are being deported, these are not people who came to America yesterday. These are people who have always been in America for the longest time possible. It's not today, you see. It's not now. Yes, Donald Trump attempts of making America great again is futile. Donald Trump's attempts to make America great again is bringing more harm than good. America is a nation of many races. America in itself is a country that was brought up by different kinds of people coming together and establishing that nation, right? And if there's someone who should really have the possession of America, USA now, I believe it is the Native Americans, right? The Native Americans, these are the only individuals who can take or who should proclaim full citizenship of the United States of America. And they should be the ones to deport people. But they ain't doing that. No way. Trump is deporting people who does not look like him, but people who look like him, he has no problem with. And he finds a reason to deport these other individuals. That tells you there's a bit of racism with Donald Trump. Yeah? So for the Cubans and for the Latinas, I'm really sorry about all this situation. But this should be a wake-up call. Never, ever to trust a politician. Trump was a politician playing his cards. And some of you fell for that. Yes. Now, these are my thoughts. I want you to share your thoughts in the comment section about what you think about all this situation between the Donald Trump government or the Donald Trump administration and the Latinas, because today it's the Cubans, yesterday was the Latinas, tomorrow blacks. It's a never-ending cycle. Yes, that is Donald Trump to us. Share your thoughts on the comment section. I'd really love to hear what you have to say. See you in the next one.